Good evening, Leroy. How are you?
Well, I'm watching the Cubs get annihilated by the worst team in baseball. So win situation this evening, my friend. Nico Horner got ejected. And much like, and I'm not saying that Nico Horner's on the same page as Joey Votto, but there's certain baseball players that when they argue a ball and strike, they're generally right. I know Votto was a big guy for that for you guys. When Nico argues, you got to know that there's something going on because otherwise Nico's usually pretty. If it's a strike, he'll accept his strike.
Hopefully, he gets suspended for the next 4 games then, because I didn't tell you that I'm going for sure tomorrow to Reds Cubs, and then hopefully on Friday as well is the plan. To get to see a couple of the Reds Cubs. It was a great series they played this weekend. The Reds ended up winning, but all 3 games were good in their own ways. Yeah, they were all great games. I mean, Friday, Reds won. Saturday, the game happened, I think went until 6 a.m. Just because they didn't start it until late. Then they said, you know what, let's play. Who cares if it's pouring rain? We'll do it. And then, that happened. And then the Reds ended up winning on Sunday as well. So they play 4 games. And I know I talked about this a couple of weeks. In fact, it's been almost a year ago, probably. It drives me crazy that MLB schedules this way. Like, could we not put another, like I hate that it's back-to-back weekends, Reds, Cubs, because, Hunter Green is pitching tomorrow night, and I assume it'll be Justin Steele for the Cubs.
Well, yeah, but that's how we ended up facing.
And it was that same matchup on Saturday.
And that's how we ended up facing Paul Skeens twice.
And I hate
we faced Skeens twice before he faced anybody else, man.
Yeah, and I wish that Major League Baseball was better about spreading it out. Like, even if it was next weekend was the Cubs series or something, give us a week in between. I don't know. It's just like, the Reds and Cubs haven't played. I mean, until
I thought you were
a week and a half ago.
I thought you were a fan of you play everyone.
I am. I just don't want to play. I don't like playing the Cubs or any team twice in the period of 10 days. 2 series in 10 days. Spread them out. If you have to do it, give it, you shouldn't play a team more than once a month, a series, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of how I feel about it. I mean, it was wild that until, I guess it's been probably a week and a half ago when the Reds hosted the Cardinals, the Reds had played more games at Dodger Stadium than they had played against the NL Central. Through the first 2 months of the year, which is just scheduling stuff. It's kind of wild when it comes for that. Well, a Bengals fan and a Caleb Williams fan walk into a bar. So what's that make you, Paul? That's my question. That's my follow-up. What's that make you? On the show today, we're going to talk betting on baseball. Big news when it comes to that. I should have worn my Pete Rose shirt for this.
You should have. You missed out, man.
Catilin Clark, she's in the news
again.
WNBA hates her, supposedly. We'll talk about that. NBA, NHL finals, those are set. We'll make our picks and so on. Who am I? Tidbits, logos, play clock, drivers. We have a new leader in our NASCAR pick contest. As a lot of, that thing, I feel like every week I'm going to say this, Leroy. We have a new leader because it's so hodgepodge.
Well, and I tell you, we'll talk about it later, but I was at the race in St. Louis this week, and obviously I had to work the event. So we'll talk about that and one of the most boneheaded mistakes I've ever seen in a race.
Ooh. There you go. That's what we call the tease in the business. Ford. That's it. I get those are Leroy's teams. Those are Paul's teams. I did see. I don't know if it's been floating around. It has your fan report card. Have you seen this?
I have not.
I feel like I'm Jay Leno right now. Have you seen this? Have you heard of this?
What's going on with this?
Got to get my chin off. But what it is you put in your teams and you put in what year you started becoming a fan, and it gives you a grade based on. So just Google fan report card. So I put in yours. I guessed about what year it was, and it says that you're an A, meaning that you have no reason to complain about anything as far as your fans, as your teams. For me,
what kind of hogwash? Because I've been a fan for so long.
Well, see, what happens is it gives, because you've seen a lot of championships for your teams between the Blackhawks, the Bulls, and the Cubs. So that's what it says. But for me, the Reds, like I put Reds and Bengals like about 2003 in that realm. And F, solid F, as far as just like misery. Do you see it here?
Yes. So I got championships A, regular season success D plus, playoff success A, suffering minimal, current trajectory free fall, overall a B.
Okay, so you got a B. Okay, did you put all 4 teams in there?
Yeah.
I guess maybe what year did you put?
87.
Okay, that's about what year I put for you, but it doesn't. Okay, yeah, put Paul's in. So Paul, what year did you start becoming a fan? And I guess he says Bulls, Cowboys, Braves. Paul's A. I can guarantee that.
Yeah,
what year did you start becoming a fan?
NBA team is Chicago Bulls.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And then
NFL
he says
team is the
Cowboys.
Sellout. And
he's a Phoenix Coyotes fan.
Yeah, do you have a hockey team that you follow? Is that a thing?
Paul is an intelligent human being. He did. Probably 1987, he says. Paul's an intelligent human being. He doesn't like hockey.
Hey, hockey is a smart person's sport. I wouldn't expect you to understand.
Okay. Baseball's the real intelligent sport, let's be honest. I don't think Paul has a hockey team. He's never mentioned it. It doesn't seem like he has much interest. Or is he a Thrashers fan?
Is that a thing?
Atlanta?
I know.
Uh-huh. Can you put them in there? Whatever team Wayne Gretzky was on. So that was
well, that doesn't. I mean, Oilers, Kings, Blues.
I love that this is how we're starting the show. This was not how we were playing.
This was not how we had tonight planned.
Okay, just leave the hockey team off. So since 1987.
All right, listen, bro gets
A.
So championships A plus, regular season success A, playoff success A plus, suffering none, current trajectory way up. Overall, A plus.
I did like that your current trajectory for your teams was in decline.
Free fall.
Yeah.
Free fall. Which really, listen, we got Paul's favorite quarterback. We've got Connor Bedard. We've got Angel Reese. And sounds like we might be getting Anthony Davis. So look, we are on the way to ACL, MCL, PCL injuries like crazy.
Gotta love it, right? It fits into the Chicago narrative.
It really does.
I do want to tell a quick little story here that'll only take about a minute and a half, Leroy, of moments where you kind of hate life. So,
wow.
I guess, okay. It's going to take a lot longer than a minute and a half. So I'm just one specific moment where I guess I don't know if it's necessarily first world problems, but it's like, those moments where it's like, God, this sucks right now. So long story short, I had to stop by our sheriff's office here to pick up some equipment. And I was racing, and from there I had to go to a basketball game.
Yep.
And I'm racing to get there, and as I'm driving, storm clouds start barreling in. And I pull in, and I knew I was going to be inside the sheriff's office for maybe 2 or 3 minutes. I pull in, no rain. 2 or 3 minutes later, I'm telling you what, it was, I mean, it like, I feel like if I was ever in a hurricane, that's what it would have been like. And I knew I had to leave because I had somewhere to be. So I had to make a mad dash to my car. It was maybe 10 to 15 steps. And I'm carrying broadcasting equipment that I had to pick up there. When I made it into my car, it literally looked like I had taken a dip in a pool. My shirt was dripping wet. My hat, I was wearing a hat, just water is just pouring off it. I could barely see out of my glasses because they were covered in water. My pants were wet, my boxers, and so on. I had to go to a basketball game, and the bus driver for the basketball team looks at me and he goes, "Do you drive here in a convertible?" It's like yes.
That's fantastic.
Yes, but it was one of those moments I was sitting there in my car and I was like, this kind of sucks. And I'm just, because I didn't have enough time to go home and change. You're
just grouchy.
Just drenched. My boxers were wet all day. Thankfully, my socks were not too wet. That's the one that like really gets to you. Like wet socks are some of the worst. It wasn't too terrible, but still, as far as I don't know if that's first world problems, but it's kind of just like, ugh.
I got into an argument this week with a Detroit Lions fan, and I don't know why the Lions all of a sudden have 2 winning seasons and all of a sudden think that we forgot how bad they were for about 40 years straight. There you go, Paul.
Yes,
but the
Paul,
Lions fan was saying that the Bears don't develop quarterbacks. And I'd just like to ask, what quarterbacks have the Lions developed?
Matthew Stafford.
Stop it.
I mean, I would argue that the Lions have more of a track record of developing quarterbacks than the Bears.
And I would argue that you have a very short memory.
But Matthew Stafford would be the best quarterback in Bears history.
Paul, don't you start. John Kitna.
Bengals legend, John Kitna. Bengals legend, John Kitna. So I have a John Kitna story. Really quick one. So it's funny that and I think I've told this on this show before, and if not, then growing up, my next door neighbor played for the Bengals. I've said that. I know you know that, Leroy. He played for the Bengals. Yep. So occasionally he would give us tickets to games, and they were always really good because they were in the family section. But one of the things that they did, and I'm not sure if they still do it, is they gave like a backstage pass of sorts to where you could go down to when the players leave, you could get their autographs, was pretty much what it is after the game. It was really cool. And being at that age, I was, 6, 7, 8. I mean, is there anything cooler than that? No.
All those players look huge when you're 6 or 7 years old.
So one of the times we got to go was one of the 4th preseason games. Okay. So which was, where none of the big guys played. So I got to sign everyone. John Kitna purposefully walked out of the way to avoid all of the kids and sign him. He was the only one that did that.
And to this day,
it's been
revenge against John Kitna.
It has been 20 years probably since that has happened, and I still remember. Anytime I see
story,
I still remember. But it was kind of like you're kind of a jerk, John Kitna. Like, just sign the kids' autographs. But okay, that's my John Kitna story.
I got Warren Moon's autograph when I was a kid. I thought it was the coolest thing ever, man.
It's awesome. And I hate that so I had a program that they had that, the programs that they had that day that I had them sign everything in. And as a kid, I looked at that program so much that it is like falling apart. And I hate that because I wish there was a way I could like save it. But it is anytime you lift it, it's like any single time. Oh my. I didn't realize Paul had such a John Kitna hatred as well. Unless Paul is saying that he would bloody his nose because Justin says the Kitna hate is real and warranted. Thank you, Justin. Listen, 6, 7, 8-year-old Sam was heartbroken, however old I was. Oh, yeah, I probably would to John Kitna, even though he's I think he's now a high school football coach in the Cincinnati area, if my memory's right.
Unrelated, the Bowling Green Hot Rods just tweeted that they don't want to talk about the final score tonight. So naturally, I had to go look to see what the final, because if a team says we don't want to talk about the game, I have to go look and see what the game
16 is. 16-2.
Surprisingly, not that bad. They lost 18-8.
Not great, but
I was expecting
that could be a lot worse.
I was expecting a 23-2 or a 24-2 because
23-1.
You and I have seen some bad Hot Rods games in our time there.
How old is John Kitna? Kitna's probably his mid-50s.
John Kitna is 51. He was born in 72.
So, I mean, that's pretty old. The big story of the week, though, as far as sports is this betting on baseball thing. It came out, on Monday, or was it yesterday? I think it was Monday, Leroy, that
Monday.
MLB comes out and 3 or 4 players have been suspended. 1 for life. First player suspended in MLB for life for gambling since Pete Rose.
Tucupita Marcano.
Yes, legend. Everyone knows who that is. To me,
we have to talk about though what he did, because what he did was legendary.
Well, I was going to say, to me, the hilarious part is, and this might be what you're talking about, is like, Homeboy won like 3.8% of his bets.
Yeah. Because he kept betting on the Pirates to win.
That's hard.
You have to work to lose that many bets.
I'm not a great bettor, but usually when I bet, I'm more doing it because I want to hit something. I'll throw in some crazy parlays just because I want to win big, and I'm not really. I know this is not smart to say, but I'm not always betting to win.
Yep.
Which I know is the goal. I'm betting more to just have fun and then hopefully hit a jackpot. Like I kind of want to play the lottery instead of betting in some instances. But like the combined winning percentage out of these guys, like the highest one was like 15%. It's not like these guys were high rollers.
No, it was not pretty.
And again, what was it?
It takes work and talent to lose that many bets in a row. At some point, you got to hit something. And he didn't hit nothing.
And I like that the one guy, won $900 or something, but since he's now suspended for a year, he has to forego his $900,000 salary. Yep. And immediately, though, I think the I don't know if fallout's the right word for it, but you see there is that group of people anti-gambling, and listen, I respect that. You're allowed to have that opinion. I like to do it, but I also am, I like to say I'm a smart one. Like, I don't ever do anything with this. Yeah, okay, Chase says this is the exact guy that I was talking about. Michael Kelly gave up a year of his career, $700,000 because he gambled less than 100.
Yeah, but Michael Kelly, Jay Groom, Jose Rodriguez, and Andrew Salfrank, along with Marcano, were all the players that either got 1-year suspensions or in Marcano's case, life.
With this, though, immediately it comes out with those anti-gambling group says, well, can you blame them? The MLB gets all their money from gambling. You've heard that. I'm sure you've seen that argument. And what I say to that is that's the biggest load of crap. What is the one cardinal sin of baseball?
Gambling.
It has been that way for over 100 years.
To take their side for a moment, why would MLB allow advertising for something or get money from something only to sit there and say, well, we allow it, but we don't want any of y'all to do it?
To me, like, if I'm being honest, like, I don't understand that argument. Because it's two completely different avenues. I mean, the advertising is for the fan. I can, if I want to tomorrow.
Yeah, but MLB's not going to go out there and advertise. MLB's not going to go out there and advertise for Trojan or something like that. Why? Because families are watching. They're not though, Sam. Show me where they're going to do it OnlyFans or.
Well, I don't know that. But
there's not that big of a difference.
For me, MLB, I'm saying
if MLB went on board and was like, MLB, proud supporter of OnlyFans. And then like their players like went on OnlyFans, and all of a sudden like MLB was like, whoa, we didn't actually want you guys getting on OnlyFans.
To me, that's not
different.
Because gambling has an effect on the game in that instance. Because that's why they don't want gambling, is that you can theoretically say, okay, I'm the starting pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds today. Let me just put $50,000 on us to lose. And I'm going to go out there and give up 8 runs in the first inning. And guess what we're probably going to do? Lose.
Correct. So you don't see them being hypocrites by saying we completely allow gambling to be, we allow our fans to do it, but players, don't you dare do it. But we'll take your revenue. We'll take the money though. Thanks.
To me, guys. I don't have any problem with that at all. To me, it's two completely different things.
I don't know how. That's crazy, man.
See, I think you're in the minority.
And I probably am. But I don't understand. Listen, and honestly, I don't have an issue with them, but I see where people are against it.
I'm trying to find. I saw a tweet that said it really well, and I think I remember who tweeted it, and I'm going to try and go see if I can find it while we are talking about it, because I'm
just not a big fan of it. It's almost like MLB saying, hey, we're fine with like advertising for Marlboro and tobacco and marijuana and cannabis, but any players get caught using cannabis, they're banned. And again, I know what you're talking about where that affects the game, but like, if you're playing the game with steroids, right? What if MLB advertised for a steroid company?
Well, okay, so here's the tweet. Here's the tweet that this person said. It's at Reds4 on Twitter. Said, I don't understand what the exact issue is that everyone seems to have with teams accepting advertised money from sports books while also suspending players who get caught gambling on the game. There's a pretty clear line of demarcation there. And somebody responded with actually a decent thing here to say, to kind of play devil's advocate to your point, is it would be like blaming a player's DUI on MLB taking money from Casamigos, the tequila.
Yeah.
And then somebody else responded saying, or Mike Leake shoplifting $60 worth of t-shirts on MLB's partnerships with Macy's. Great story. But still, and that's kind of where I think, to me, there's a line. There's a line. And it's simple. Don't bet on baseball.
It's the same issue. It's the same issue that I have with NASCAR. NASCAR is going to sit there and support fighting and promote fighting and then turn around and issue suspensions right afterwards. Hey, guys, thanks for the fight, man. Our views went way up. Hey, you owe us $50,000 for that fight, though. Thanks. Sorry about that.
And I do agree here with Chase's.
Support one.
Go on.
And you can't support one and then say it's all right with the other hand. And again, let me clarify that I'm fine with gambling. Trust me. I bet on the Indy 500 and lose every single year, okay? I thank God I can't bet on college football in Illinois. Otherwise, I'd lose a ton of money on Northwestern, okay? But I'm just not a big fan when you have when you sit there and you eagerly accept money for something that you are telling your players that they can't do. I don't necessarily. I understand why people are against it. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, but to me, you can be against gambling, and I listen. I respect that. If you don't, but in a lot of ways, it's like if you don't want to, you don't have to. You don't have to. It's like the state of Kentucky took for so long.
These players know that it's illegal. Yeah. And the thing is they're not even forbidden from gambling. They're forbidden from gambling on baseball.
Yeah.
That's the rule. Is they can gamble on football. They can gamble on hell. They can gamble on lacrosse if they want to.
If Justin Steele tomorrow decides I want to put $5 million in the Blackhawks winning the Stanley Cup next year,
yep,
knock yourself out. You'd probably be throwing away $5 million. But
definitely be throwing away $5 million.
Wouldn't it be nice to be able to? You know what? Here's $5 million. Like it's Mattress Mac, that guy, and I get he gets all of the ad revenue and such because everybody mentions him. But wouldn't it be nice to be able to just throw like $10 million down, and if you lose, it's really not that big of a deal.
Our girls basketball team just announced that they're doing a free throw-a-thon where like if you put 25 cents down, they'll shoot 1,000 free throws. Or it's like 100 free throws, and however many they make, you got to pay. And I was like doing the math in my head, like, okay, as long as she don't hit like 95 of the free throws, like I'm good to go, right? And I'm literally doing the estimates in my head. Okay, she's a better free throw shooter. I'm telling you.
Do you get to pick your free throw shooter? Because
you do. And I was like, okay, we do the math here. Who's the better free? No, I can't put money on her. She'll make all of her free throws.
But I mean, yeah, like it's funny. So the Reds, every game on Bally Sports, they do the Bally Sports parlay. And it's funny because going into a game on, I guess it was Monday or Tuesday, the parlay was something like, I don't know how many games did they play this year? What, 60? We'll just say 60.
Yeah.
The parlay was 1-59. Like they had, and it won on Monday. And it's hilarious because John Sadak, the Reds play-by-play guy, who I want to come back to a little bit later on, just starts dying laughing on air. Because he's like, it finally won! Finally won!
One of the guys at NASCAR bet on Ryan Blaney to win the NASCAR race. He bet $500 and he would have won something like $50,000. And he ran out of gas in the last lap. Bro was kicking himself.
Bad beats. Bad beats, right? Bad beats.
So the NCAA president has called for a ban on college prop bets. Now, I don't know what states allow, because I'm telling you, like we can bet on college sports as long as they're not Illinois colleges. So, like, if I want to bet on Duke, North Carolina, I absolutely can. If I want to bet on Illinois taking on Notre Dame, I can't do that. And I wonder, so Baker says this is to protect the integrity and competition of the game, as well as stop the harassment of student and professional athletes, which I find hysterical, because we want to talk about the integrity and competition of the game and then easily take NILs all day long and say, it'll be $1.5 million if you want me to play for you. Integrity of the game. And yes, Paul, that's a state law.
See,
there's just so many stupid little, we allow this, but we don't allow this, and we allow this, but we don't allow that.
It's a sign you're getting old.
It's a joke, man. It's a joke.
Because I can see, because you do see some of those DMs that players will release, like, you only scored 14, and those people have problems. But I also like the integrity of the game. 100% in quotation marks for that. I also like doing the parlays are my favorite part with the prop bets.
I know.
Like, I like, but for me, I really have the rule of I never bet more than $5, just because I work in radio. So that's about all I can do. But when I got DraftKings, when DraftKings came to Kentucky, 8 months ago or whenever it was, I put $25 into my account, and I still have that same amount of money in there, and I've just continuously rolled it over and over again. And if I run out, I don't know, I'll probably put a little bit more in, but I've just kind of just played along with that. But enough about gambling, because we do have more to get to as well. Do you have anything else that you wanted to say, or you want to talk Catilin Clark?
Just that.
Oh, that's right. You had some gambling highlights as well.
I do have the timeline. ESPN was nice and put together a little mini timeline of big events that are happening as far as sports gambling scandals. And we're going to kind of touch on a few of these items. In 2018, the Supreme Court struck down federal prohibitions on sports gambling. And that's really what opened this all up, was 2018. They voted down. NFL suspended Josh Shaw in 2019 for betting on league games.
Bengals legend.
University of Colorado then in 2020 signed a sponsorship deal with Denver-based PointsBet. Yeah, don't do it, but we'll take your money. Capital One Arena in Washington becomes the first professional sports arena in the U.S. with a fully operational sports book. That's right. You don't even have to leave the stadium. Walk down the hallway. You can gamble right there.
Last year at Great American Ballpark, you could bet in the stadium, because that's where, and I don't know if this is on your list, the Alabama baseball coach. Is that on your list?
We're getting there.
That bet happened at Great American Ballpark.
Felipe Hernandez was suspended for betting on MLS games in 2021. You got bet on soccer games? Ooh. NFL suspended Calvin Ridley in 2022. Wide receiver coach Miles Austin was suspended from the Jets for a year. UFC tightened gambling rules in 2023. 2023, also, University of Colorado and PointsBet ended their partnership 3 years early, as it was mutually beneficial to end their partnership after nearly 3 years. Apparently, the American Gaming Association had released revised guidelines that advised against partnerships between sportsbooks and colleges. Jameson Williams, among 5 NFL players in 2023, suspended for gambling. Alabama fires head baseball coach Brad Bohannon after linked to suspicious betting ahead of an Alabama LSU baseball game. That was May of 2023.
And the bet was taking place at GABP. Hilarious. Like, he called his friend to bet on the game, and he was at the Reds game that day. It's a wild story. Like, that's the one I want to watch the 30 for 30 on.
Iowa State had their big gambling investigation start in May of 2023. Baseball, football, men's basketball, track and field, and wrestling. One full-time Iowa athletic department employee was suspected of violating NCAA rules. The NFL suspended 4 players, 3 for betting on their own team for gambling in June of 2023. Jameson Williams reinstated after the NFL tweaked their gambling policy. Shane Pinto, NHL player, suspended for 41 games for gambling. A couple of Ferry Tour golfers were suspended in October. In 2024, Keyshawn Butte was arrested after illegal betting at LSU. Temple is looking into reports of unusual gambling activity. Amit Patel for the Jaguars, 6.5-year prison sentence for fraud. Shohei Ohtani, Jonte Porter, and then now the latest was Marcano. So
it'll just be very interesting to see how it goes around.
I think you're going to see this get a little bit worse before it gets better. And I think you're going to start to see some more definitive lines. As you were saying earlier, Sam, definitive lines in between what's allowed and what's not allowed to make it more clear. Although I don't know how much more clear you can be to these players. They know the risk going in.
Yeah.
Hell, the hits leader of all time can't, is suspended. So I'm interested to see in 5 years what this landscape looks like.
Yeah, I don't really know. A couple of the other big headlines from the week as well. Catilin Clark, the WNBA hates her.
Did they got bounty on this woman?
It is, for one, I just find it funny too, Leroy, that, we started this podcast, about 13 months ago, give or take.
Yep.
And we have talked more about I think we've talked more about the WNBA than we've talked about the NBA on this podcast.
Which is insane.
And you'd have never believed it.
Not a chance.
Honestly, it's been a little bit more interesting with some of this stuff. Because I think Catilin Clark is, but I mean, like, I don't get this. I don't really know that it's hatred.
No, it is.
If it wasn't, I don't get it, because let's be real, Leroy. Why are these people going to games? If it wasn't for Catilin Clark, would Christy give a damn about the WNBA? Your wife?
Not a chance.
In fact, she would give less than that.
Somebody posted the WNBA attendance numbers, and I can't find it in front of me, but Caitlin's games average 17,000 people. The next closest team, which is the Aces, which are a really good WNBA team.
They've
10,
won like 3 straight. They've won 3 straight titles.
10,000.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't want to speak for Christy, but Chase says Rick and Bubba had a good conversation about Catilin Clark this morning. Afraid to say I missed that, Chase. You know who Rick and Bubba are?
Big D and Bubba?
Rick and Bubba.
I don't know who they are.
Yeah, they're our morning show. It's a syndicated.
Big D and Bubba.
Oh. Interesting. But I don't understand the hatred on Catilin Clark, because, like you said, she's the one bringing eyes to this. More money is going to start to come in because of her.
You got them charters, Sam.
Yeah, you'd think these players would be wanting to shake her hand.
No, it's because they busted their butts for years and no one cared. And now all of a sudden the flashy toy comes in and everyone's talking about her, and they're all PO'd because nobody's caring about what they have going on. That's the problem.
So they compared her to Jackie Robinson coming to the MLB.
And that's a joke. I know what you're saying, Chase. And listen, I get where you're coming from, but
that's not his opinion. That's what Rick and Bubba said this morning on their show.
Right, and that's just it. And I've heard that opinion from multiple people. But the fact of the matter is everyone keeps waiting for this woman to fail, and she's not. When you look at her numbers and you look at what she's done already in the WNBA with the small sample size that we have of her, she's killing it. Mm-hmm. She's had 1 or 2 bad games. And they're sitting there saying, oh, she only shoots 3. She only does this. Great. Stop her then.
Yeah.
But you can't. No one's been able to.
Yeah. I mean, the hard fouls and stuff are, and I did appreciate too some of the people that said, this would be assault. It's not like, It was a hard foul. It wasn't assault. Like we need to. And being honest, Catilin does have a little bit of the flop to her. Just a little bit. She does. We're being honest. She does have a little bit of that.
Yeah, Pat McAfee called her a white bitch. So, I mean.
Yeah, he did. And that, shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done that, especially for Pat being an Indianapolis guy.
Yes.
But I don't know. It's wild. Speaking, though, of NBA as well, the NBA Finals begin tomorrow. Leroy, Celtics or Mavs? Who you got?
Celtics. I don't think the Mavs have enough to get them.
How many games?
6.
That's kind of what I was leaning toward. I was thinking of saying the same thing, Celtics in 6. But it would not shock me if the Mavs, because honestly, I think the Mavs have the best player. I mean, Luka is.
Those Pistons teams were no joke, Paul.
Malice at the Palace.
Those Pistons teams.
The
MJ got torched a little bit, especially in those early years.
The Mavs, though, Luka is incredible. Kyrie's playing really well. Do you care about the NBA Finals?
The NBA Finals?
Yeah,
not at all.
Will you watch any of it?
I'll watch the highlights the next day.
And if I'm being honest, I'm not even sure I'll do that much. Yeah, Chase, we know you're the Mavs fan. Of course, you're going to jump for them. I don't know. I just am not a. But I think the pro to that is I don't really care who wins.
Yeah,
it doesn't particularly matter as much to me. The NHL Finals, Blue Jackets take on the Coyotes.
No, they don't.
The Blue Jackets, though. Hey, Blue Jackets, we have our savior, the Don. The Don has come to
the Don.
The Don has come to Columbus. I don't remember Don's last name, but apparently it sounds like he was the former GM for the Hurricanes. Like, in all seriousness, it sounds like it's a really big pickup for the Blue Jackets, right?
It was. This is actually the farthest finals any team in the Big Four sports have ever played in.
Edmonton against Florida, is that right?
Edmonton against Florida. It's like 2,700 miles between the two. So it's going to be a really long finals because they're giving the teams plenty of time to travel and get reorientate. It's going to drag forever. It's 7 games that are going to be like 3 weeks long. It's something insane.
Who should win
as far as that goes? Huh?
Who should win?
I don't think the Oilers have enough, but the Oilers have surprised me all year long. They started off really, really horrible. They fired their head coach and then all of a sudden went on a big winning streak. Now, listen, on paper, the Oilers look much better. But I just don't think. I think the Panthers are going to.
Is that McDavid?
Take the series. McDavid, Draisaitl. Yeah, I mean.
Okay, I like McDavid. All I know, Connor, is that his name?
Yes.
There you go. That's all. I don't know anything about him. I just know his name. Couldn't tell you anything about the Florida Panthers. Are they in Miami? I assume they are, right?
No, they're in.
Are they not in Miami?
Yeah. No, where are they? Let me look. I don't remember.
They're in Sunrise, Florida. They're in Miami.
Yeah.
Okay. They're in Miami.
Yeah. But there is a Canadian team in the playoffs or in the finals for the first time in quite a while. Do you know the last year a Canadian team won the Stanley Cup?
Is Warren Moon still the quarterback for the Oilers? Is he still on the team? Wrong sport. Wait. Okay. I have not a clue. The Maple Leafs were in it in 1994.
I tell you what, that's pretty close, Sam. For you, that's not too bad. The 1992-1993 Canadians. That was the last team to win the Stanley Cup. Okay. That was a Canadian team.
So I'm going to take the Oilers in 6.
And I'm taking the Panthers in 5.
Ooh, dominate. Okay, there we go. We've done our NBA Finals and NHL Finals talk.
We did our job. We made that work.
You ready for a Who Am I?
I am.
Okay, this is Who Am I? I have got a clue. I've got 6 clues here. First one to guess it, Leroy, or the comment section, you win the pride of getting it correct, which is quite possibly the yes, Earl Campbell's still the goalie.
No.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Who am I? I played 10 seasons in the MLB for 4 teams.
Okay.
I played 10 seasons in the MLB for 4 teams. I learned English while in college from watching TV shows like Kenan and Kel. I didn't learn English until I was in college, and I learned it from watching TV shows like Kenan and Kel. That also helps you out with an era. So I learned English while in college from watching TV shows like Kenan and Kel. I was only the second player from Quebec to become an All-Star. I was only the second player from Quebec to become an All-Star. I played 10 seasons in the MLB for 4 teams. I learned English while in college from watching TV shows like Kenan and Kel. I was only the second player from Quebec to be an All-Star. Paulie's not that.
No, I watched Kenan and Kel.
What, that 90s, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Any guesses, or you want me to hit clue number 4?
Clue number 4.
I was named in the Mitchell Report. I was named in the Mitchell Report, which you know what that is, right?
Yep.
The steroids.
Yep.
I was named in the Mitchell Report. I'll give Paul, Chase, and so on, give them a chance to see if they might have a guess on this. Because he's really not that young. Okay. Clue number 5. I am one of 9 relievers to win the Cy Young. I am one of only 9 relievers in MLB history to win the Cy Young.
Trevor Hoffman?
No. I played 10 seasons in the MLB for 4 teams.
Yeah, Paul, that's what I was trying to think.
I learned English while in college from watching TV shows like Kenan and Kel. I was only the second player from Quebec to be an All-Star. I was named in the Mitchell Report. I am one of 9 relievers to win the Cy Young. I've got one more clue if no one has a guess.
Colon.
Oh, yes, Canadian legend, and we can stop right here because Chase Blaine has gotten it correct.
Oh, Gagne.
Eric Gagne is correct.
He jumped out of nowhere.
Would you have gotten it on this last clue? I hold the MLB record for most consecutive saves at 84.
Yeah.
Would you have gotten Gagne there?
Yeah.
That was my final clue. Congrats, Chase. You win the pride of knowing you were right, I guess, which is just as good as anything we could offer, right, Leroy?
Yeah.
I was watching a video and it popped up today, and he's always one of those, like Chase says, you never think about him, but it was 84 straight saves.
He was.
And then he dropped because injuries.
Yep.
Tore him up.
He was insane when he was on. There was nobody better than him. It was like Linscomb.
Yep.
Linscomb had those 4 or 5 years where he was really, really good.
84 straight saves. That's unbelievable. Eric Gagne is this week's Who Am I? Leroy, you got some tidbits?
I do have tidbits. Let's get to them. NASCAR held their final race on Fox. They now switched to NBC for the rest of the season. Speaking of NASCAR, some fans are upset as the broadcast kept referring to WWT Raceway as being in St. Louis. For those of you who don't know, the track is actually in Madison, Illinois, which is the equivalent of calling the San Francisco 49ers the 49ers, even though they don't play in San Francisco.
Can't you see the arch pretty much?
If you are in the top row of seats, if I'm in my office in the drag strip, I can see the arch. It's St. Louis. Stop it. It's fine. You big babies. Rumors are IndyCar will be going to Fox next year. Leroy is not impressed. WNBA rescinded Angel Reese's second technical. Chicago wants an apology. The referee said, no. Oklahoma and Texas are playing in the World Series of softball. We also have college World Series information. Texas. Good grief. Tennessee taking on Evansville. Kentucky taking on Oregon State. Florida State taking on UConn. Georgia, NC State. Virginia versus Kansas State. Clemson, Florida. UNC versus West Virginia. And Texas A&M taking on Oregon.
Let's go, Cats.
Colts NFL Players Association rep Ryan Kelly says 18 games is too many games for my players. Quarterback Cameron Sutton has signed a one-year deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The team announced Wednesday, and the Cubs say that they are going to be buyers at the trade deadline. Leroy again laughs.
Yeah, the final Race Hub airs this week. Very sad times.
Yeah, you know what? I'm interested to see how NBC does with the NASCAR coverage. But I really do not want Fox taking IndyCar. I do not want that at all. The setup that we have right now for IndyCar is pretty good. And I am not excited about Fox taking over IndyCar at all. If the rumors are true.
Jason, no, I have not tried. We just got a brand new steak restaurant on the store here in Litchfield. I've not tried it yet. It's on my list to try. Braves got smoked today. Sorry, Paul. Reds won. So the Reds swept the Rockies and took 2 out of 3 from the Cubs. They've won like 9 of 12. So hopefully that means that they're turning things around. Speaking of turning things around, Leroy, it's time for you to turn things around on Leroy's logos. Because as you remember, we're taking a little bit of time off from the team. And this is 4 throwback logos. So these are all logos that were previously used by the team. It was a go-ahead home run, too, Paul. Okay, so there are 4. So you get 4 options today. Would you like door number 1, 2, 3, or 4 to open up Throwback Month?
It's Throwback Month, so we're going to start with 1.
Well, and I'm going to tell you, I think I took it easy on you this week. So I think I'm giving you, you've been struggling a little bit recently, so I think I'm helping you out here. Door number 1.
Paul.
Door number 1. This logo is from 1919. And I did say all of these are going to be the only I might go down as low as these will all be FBS schools. Like they all play college football, or it'll be big college basketball teams that don't have Wichita State or something that just doesn't have football.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any guesses, Leroy?
All right. So my guess is
hopefully you didn't see that comment because I accidentally put it on the screen.
I didn't.
Okay, good. Because I accidentally put the answer on the screen.
So the back of my head says Kansas.
Okay.
If it's but and I'm going with Kansas, but like part of me also thinks maybe Creighton. But I'm going to go with Kansas.
Final answer. Yes.
Final answer is Kansas. Yeah.
Oh, I hate to do this to you, Leroy. Correct. Kansas is correct. Leroy goes 1 for 1 so far to open it up. This could be the week that you go, so Justin got it right, Paul got it right, your wife got it correct. Sorry, Chase, it's not Delaware. All right. Okay, you're going to go 4. This could be the week that you go 4 of 4. Here you go. And I'm going to do this here to help yourself out. What logo is this? And for one, luckily as a podcast, we can't get canceled for putting a logo on, but this is from the 80s. What college is this throwback logo from?
From the 80s?
That's what
oh my goodness.
My website said. Do you need the white up there to see?
No.
Okay.
Oh, you're okay. You're okay.
I guess I'm wide enough to act the same, right? Yeah. Okay. The comment section stumped on this, Leroy. Are you stumped, or do you think you know?
I am. So I got my two choices again. Okay, I know I can only pick one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and that's fine. I have to say both of them. Okay, so my pick is Florida State.
Okay.
But Oklahoma is in the back of my head. I'm going with Florida State.
Oklahoma. Okay. Does it make you feel better that Justin says Oklahoma State? Or Chase says Florida State?
Yeah. So I'm not completely off on this. Yeah, but I'm gonna go with I'm sticking with Florida State.
Alrighty. So for all of our comments section, guess what? You get a collective. This is, and Leroy, I'll be honest, I'd have never gotten this. Syracuse.
Syracuse.
Syracuse. That's what it said. Yep.
They've been the Oranges forever, though.
Syracuse is the correct answer to that one.
Crazy. Two.
That was my heart. That was my heart. So we had another couple Florida State guesses. 2. Okay. Now my computer's assigned a lag. 2. I'm going to have to go back to my...
Ow. Oh, I like it. They need to go back to this logo.
1979. Do you know this?
They need to go back to this logo.
1979 was when this logo was used.
Well, yeah, Sam, and I'll tell you why I know it. Partly because of...
And you're welcome, okay?
Yeah,
you're welcome.
The belt buckle looks great.
You're welcome, okay? You're welcome.
Thank you. Yes, I will go with Duke. Final answer.
Duke is correct. It is Duke from 1979. The comment section is all in on Duke. I'm trying to put them up, but again, it is late at night, so my computer has decided it doesn't really want the comments to go on the screen. So the final one, and gosh, I was too nice to you this week, Leroy. I was way too nice to you. Way too nice to you.
Don't start with me, Gormley.
The final one this week is...
Oh, you were? You were way too nice to me.
Very, very nice to you this week.
I used to have a basketball that had all of the logos from this conference. And I always thought that was such a cool logo. And I remember my dad being like, no, we don't like that school.
So, Leroy, you're going to be up to hitting 383.
That's good.
After I assume you get this one correct. I'm going to hope, though, because if you don't, I'm going to be very, very disappointed to you. But, Leroy, we're just going to waste no more time. What is this week?
This is the Fighting Illini of Illinois.
That is correct. 3 out of 4 this week, Leroy. For Throwback Week, this will continue for the next couple of weeks, doing a little bit of throwback, because this is kind of fun. I actually enjoy going back and looking in here. So this. Kansas, Duke, Illinois, and Syracuse are this week's Leroy's Logos
crazy
throwback.
Syracuse logo.
It is.
Oh my goodness.
Even your wife knew that it was Illinois as well. Okay, how about a little play clock segment where we got 40 seconds to answer a question the other person doesn't know anything about? And the play clock is really big on the screen today, but there we go. Would you like to ask or answer first?
I will. I'll ask first.
What is your wife doing here? Cheating at Leroy's Logos defeats the entire purpose.
Granola before, I told you. If you cheat, you don't say anything about it. You just go with it. She's mad because she got federal jury duty, so she's all butthurt. She's all butthurt about it.
I got jury duty here. Only got called once, and it was funny. They ended up settling the case, but I was sitting there, and the person next to me was a cop that I knew. So we were both like, there's no shot we're getting seated on a jury. A media personality and a police officer, we're good.
No way.
Good, Justin. Don't cheat. Christy, cheater. No fun. Okay, I'm ready to answer, Leroy.
All right. I might have asked you this before, so my apologies if I have.
My first question is one that I think I've asked you too, so we're even.
What is your go-to sunflower seed?
Oh, God. I honestly could not tell you the last time I had sunflower seeds. It's not something that I ever do. Like
Really?
I don't ever. I don't know. Honestly, I have some in my cabinet that I think I was given. So the Reds do a thing where it's the Kroger meal deal, and you get a hot dog, a drink, a snack, and then they do a specialty thing. And the specialty thing of a game a couple of years ago that I went to was sunflower seeds, and I didn't eat them because I'm like, I don't know. It's just not something that I ever do. Honestly, I'd probably be with Christy, that I'd probably go with original, but I don't think I would be picky as far as sunflower seeds. But it's really not something that I ever do.
I need you to know that I have a new favorite chip. So make fun of me. Make fun of me.
It's got to be better than your old one.
These are fantastic.
Well, they got to be better than the sweet corn Pringles.
Mexican street corn Pringles. If you have not had this, you need to try it.
This right here, if you've never had these, Leroy,
I need to try. I need to. I never had it when I was in Kentucky, and I needed to.
I'm going to need to ship some to you.
Yes.
Because you like spicy, correct?
Yep.
And you like barbecue, so
I'm telling you, guys, this is it.
I'll have to try it.
This is the chip right there.
Listen, I'll try it. Okay. Right. This is the question that I think dill pickle. That's a good option for the seeds. Okay. I'm pretty sure I've asked this to you as well, Leroy, but I heard a conversation on air, and they were talking about this is something that men like to talk about. I was like, yeah, you're not wrong. What would be your walk-up song if you were a professional baseball player? And why?
Walk-up song. Oh my gosh. So honestly, my walk-up song would probably be Kashmir by Led Zeppelin.
That was mine.
Oh, I was going to say, don't you dare say that's a bad choice.
No, that would be mine too.
But there's a couple that are really, really good. System of a Down Psycho is also another great one that I really, really like the intro of it. So, but yeah, definitely would be Kashmir.
Yeah, that would be mine too. That was going to be my answer. Was probably Kashmir. You're not going to go like Down with the Sickness?
No. And I tell you what, when I did UIS this spring, I was amused at everybody's like walk up music because everybody had like hip hop and all of this stuff. And I think one guy had like Back in Black by AC/DC, but all the relief pitchers had like country music. And it was so funny because other than one guy who had We Want the Funk by George Clinton. And I laughed so hard because it was this short little white dude that was rocking out to We Want the Funk by George Clinton as he was getting ready to pitch. Just bizarre walk-up music for people that you just don't expect it to be.
Paul's got a great guess. I mean, Crazy Train, that's a good one. That's a good one. Without question on that. Okay. I think Chase even had one. I think for even being the manager of the high school baseball team, I think he had one that they played whenever he would go pick up a ball or something. I think that's how it went. We'll be able to back it up. Okay, I'm ready here.
A woman that attended the Oilers game is making headlines after she flashed her boobs and got all over social media showing her breasticles. So my question to you, Sam, is what is your greatest, like, have you ever been at a game where there's been a streaker or something like that?
Oh, gosh. I'm not sure I've ever been at a game with a streaker, now that I'm thinking about it, or anything like that. Yeah, I don't think I've ever been at a game with something. That's right. Chase's was Put Me In, Coach. Center field by John Fogerty.
Center field.
That's right. I don't know. I mean, whenever I'm thinking of memorable moments that I've been at, the one that will always come to mind that is the complete opposite of something wild that happened on I'm sure you would, Paul. I'm sure you would. Was DeMar Hamlin. That's the complete opposite end of the spectrum. But as far as something just mind-blowing that happened on the field, but as far as like streaking or something like that, off the top of my head, nothing comes to mind.
A person streaked at Wembley when we went for the Bears-Buccaneers game, and he ran right over to Brian Urlacher and tried to hug Urlacher, And Brian was like, come here, right? Urlacher grabs him and just picks him up and throws him down and just kind of holds him there until security was able to get over there and grab him. Cracked me up, though, man.
Nothing wrong with a little nip. Hey, whatever works. Leroy, Mick and I were having this discussion last week where we were, okay, what does Chase say? Okay, I know the exact moment you're talking about, Chase, where MA had to catch him. He ended up getting out of the stadium.
They ran out behind the power stacks? That's impressive.
So he jumped over the center field wall, the little grass, and jumped out and left the stadium, and they ended up finding him.
Impressive.
Mick and I were having this discussion, though, and it was about, the urinal rule, right?
Yep.
For men, the urinal rule.
Yeah.
And we had a little bit of a, gentleman's disagreement with it, and I want you to settle it. I'm not telling you which side either one of us is on.
Okay.
But one side said that, if there are 3 urinals, and
you take the middle one to assert dominance. So I'm just kidding. Go on.
Left and right are taken. One of us said that if there are dividers, in between the urinals, it is okay to take the middle one. The other one said, no, you go to the stall unless it is really, really, really busy or something. So, Leroy, I ask you, does dividers allow for the urinal rule to be broken?
Man, I don't know if I might have to recuse myself from this conversation simply because I was in the military. So, like, peeing next to other people, I mean, we had tubes in the ground that we would pee in. So, I mean, I say go for it. I know that we us men, we don't like we don't like standing next to other guys when they're peeing, but there's plenty of, I will definitely take the middle stall or middle urinal if there's 2 guys left or right of me, especially if I'm at a game.
Dividers have no impact on you at all?
Not to me.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of okay. So Mick was on the realm of, we had the discussion of, he said because dividers are what allows it to be okay in the middle. Yeah. Where I said, in this realm, you just go into the stall or you wait your turn.
No.
I always just find the urinal rule hilarious, and to me, there are 2 exceptions to the urinal rule.
Well, one of the podcasts I follow, Indy 500 has troughs, right? Wrigley has troughs and everything, and a lot of the guys were very uncomfortable, especially a lot of the younger guys were very uncomfortable and were waiting for stalls to open up because they didn't want to. Like we talk about rules when it comes to like urinals. This is a whole like.
Oh yeah.
You kind of just space. Yeah. You kind of just space your distance between you and the guy next to you. Like that's more of a how much room is enough room for me to slide in and go. That's the real question. Like troughs are the real question.
To me, there are 2 exceptions to the urinal rule. If you're at a game, so troughs kind of fit into that. Like if it's halftime of the Cincinnati Bengals game, the urinal rule does not count because you're first open. You're going to because there's
straightforward and don't talk.
Yes,
straightforward and you don't talk.
There
was some guy on his cell phone like having a conversation. It was like he had an earpiece in and was having a conversation, and I was like,
"Oh wow,
nope."
I had a former teacher that had a bad habit of because there was one restroom close to their classroom. So it would always be like, it never failed that we'd be in there at the same time. And he always would feel like he had to have a conversation. And I was like I enjoy to talk to you, but let's at least start washing our hands first. Let's just at least, I don't want to, okay. But to me, the 2 exceptions, to the urinal rule are sports game, a game, or after a movie.
After a movie.
Correct.
When everybody's getting,
Those are the 2 exceptions to the urinal rule. But that's my opinion on it. Do you have some drivers of this week?
I do, and while I'm getting that ready, I do have a story for you, one that we need to talk about that I want your opinion on. So, you guys know I'm passionate for IndyCar. I'm passionate for racing. There's a driver for IndyCar who's from Argentina, and Argentina is very passionate about their racing. They love their racing. Last year, the driver from Argentina got hit, and the other guy got death threats. Kind of downplayed it, said it wasn't a big deal. Oh, this happens all the time. Just needs to have a thicker skin. Well, the driver that crashed him ended up getting fired from the team. Well, fast forward to this year, it's happened again. A driver from Arrow McLaren hit Jimco's Hollinger, Augustine Canapino. Canapino went on Twitter and was liking tweets that were basically laughing at the death threats. Then proceeded to turn around and write a story or write a post about, we're really sorry that this happened, but we don't need to be looking at these people. It needs to be better than. It was just so funny that he was like literally liking tweets that were against it, and then at the same hand sat there and said, "We don't like this at all. Stop doing it."
Those Twitter likes get you every time. They're going to get you.
And they're like, "Bro, you're public, right? Like we can see everything that you like."
That's where they get you. That's where they get you.
All right.
Okay. This game I've got a 1 in 3 chance. It is either an F1, an Indy, or a NASCAR driver. And I know nothing about this. Leroy's just going to put a face on the wall. And here we go. And it's just him and I actually think I might know this. Is that Christopher Bell?
That is. My goodness. Good job.
Oh, look at me go. I did know that. Christopher Bell, because he looks like he's 12.
That's fantastic.
Who is she?
His girlfriend, fiance.
Yeah, it is a little small, so we'll have to, maybe you can zoom in a little bit just so you can get close. Be careful with this, Leroy. We don't need a phallic moment.
I opened it up all the way so that it wouldn't show anything else on my screen.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. He's got kind of is that spiked hair?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He's not a NASCAR driver. I can say that. Paul has an important question while we're thinking about this. You can answer this while I ponder, because I think this is an IndyCar driver.
Okay, what question? What question?
Did you not see Paul's question on the screen?
No, I've got it open full screen, so I didn't see it.
Can you see it now or no?
Hold on.
No. He says, Leroy, are you pooping at the Indy 500 or are you waiting?
I waited, which was tough because we had a 4-hour rain delay. But no, listen, I am not a big poop in public type person. I like, even and Christy can attest to this, even when I'm at work, I live 5 minutes from my house. I will drive home sometimes just to go poop and then come back. We have a stall and a urinal in our bathroom here at the radio station. And I am just not a big fan of it. So I will drive home and be comfortable at home.
Christy says that's very true. He will rush home. Chase says Alex Bowman. Is that Alex Bowman?
It is not Alex Bowman. No.
What did I say? Did I say Indy?
You did. Is that your final answer?
Yeah, I'm going to stick to it.
That is F1. That's Esteban Ocon.
I knew he wasn't a NASCAR driver. You can't have spiked hair in NASCAR. Okay, this guy's not a NASCAR driver. I can guarantee that. Guarantee.
Oh my God, Paul, you're right. He does look like Garoppolo.
Yeah, the other guy 100% looks like it.
Look at that.
That guy's an IndyCar driver too. The other guy.
Fantastic.
Apparently, this guy's dead too. The other guy. I was guessing.
Oh, he just signed a new deal with a horrible team.
Oh, that's he's an IndyCar driver.
This guy?
Yeah.
No, the Ocon. Ocon signed a horrible deal.
Oh no, this guy is an IndyCar driver.
Final answer?
Yes.
Yes, that's Marcus Armstrong. He is an IndyCar driver. 2 out of 3 this week, Sam. Pretty good, my friend.
Look at us go. Speaking of that, it's now time to update on our pick contest for NASCAR. I touched on it on the Open. We last week, the winner was Tyler. Came away with 42 points, picking Denny Hamlin. Paul came away with 39. Leroy, myself, and John all had 27, with Chase coming away with 23.
No one picked Austin Cindric. Crazy.
Yes, no one did pick Austin Cindric. The updated point totals. In first place with 424 points.
Oh, he would kill an IndyCar, Chase. He would absolutely kill an IndyCar.
Paul Reeves is in first place with 424 points. In second place, 6 behind, is myself with 418. Chase is now in third at 393, and Leroy 391 in fourth. John at 312, Tyler at 299, Luke at 110, Bert at 17.
So I have to tell you my St. Louis. I have to tell you my WWT story.
Right before, I'm just going to say,
Yep.
This is the race is at Sonoma this week. So now you can drop in your comments. The only person that is unable to make a pick for a driver this week is you, Leroy. You are not allowed to pick Kyle Larson.
And
you can
don't worry, I won't.
So drop in your comments. Yeah, because you've kind of put a curse on Kyle Larson these past couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm not picking him anymore for the rest of the year. So, now he hit Kyle Busch at St. Louis, and that kind of ruined his. He had like 5 laps to go, and he had to pit, and that kind of ruined his day. So, I tell you what, I will tell you a great story about St. Louis. I worked the WWT race. About 5 minutes before the cars went green, I realized I forgot my earplugs, so that was fun. I was working the media center, and it was crazy because like I got there and no one kind of knew where I was supposed to be. I told them, I was like, hey, I'm supposed to be at the media center. They were like, oh, yeah, you need to talk to this person. So I'd find that person. It was like a movie. They'd be like, oh, no, you need to go talk to this person. So finally they get me to where I think I'm supposed to be. It wasn't. So eventually I ended up in the right section where I was supposed to be. So the race ends. Brad Keselowski comes running past me, and he's like, have you seen Austin Cindric? To me. And I was like, no.
Would you know Austin Cindric?
Before Sunday, no. All right, and I'll tell you why before Sunday, because I'll tell you why in a second. So Keselowski comes running by, and he goes, have you seen Austin? And I'm like, no. He goes, he drops a cuss word and gets back into his golf cart and takes off.
Which one did he say?
I'll tell you after the show.
What does it start with?
GFD.
GFD?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So all of a sudden, 5 minutes later, a golf cart pulls up. It's Austin Cindric, his guy from Team Penske, and like a WWT person. Austin's got the trophy in his hand, and he's all excited as can be. He comes like walking past me. I said, hey, Mr. Cindric, Keselowski was looking for you. He goes, oh, I know. And then went into the media center. And I'm like, I really wish someone would fill me in on the inside joke because I am completely missing it.
Are you still out on the joke?
So I'm sitting, and he does an interview inside the media center. He comes back out of the media center, and I have my camera ready to go. And I said, Austin, can I get a picture? He goes, yeah, absolutely. So I take the picture. He goes, have you seen Brad? And I said, no. So Austin goes, good, gets back on the golf cart and takes off. Now, that was it. I never saw either of them again. I did get my picture with Austin Cindric, but I have no idea what that little thing was.
I hope this becomes a thing that every year they remember you, and like next year Austin Cindric will come up. You seen Brad?
I'm telling you,
was Brad Keselowski was Brad wanting to kick his butt or something?
I don't know.
Were you the one that stopped the NASCAR fight? The questions that we had to know. Chase picks Martin Truex, which is exactly who I was picking this week at Sonoma. So I'm picking Martin Truex as well. I already had it written down too. I usually make my pick before the race and put it into my spreadsheet. Again, they're racing at Sonoma. Paul, John, Tyler, they're not watching today. You can join in and leave us a comment below as to who you want to pick. Leroy, who you got?
Joey Logano.
Chase says Brad Keselowski and Cindric are good friends from their time at Penske.
Okay. Thanks, Chase.
So Paul, if John and Tyler and so on, if you want to drop in there. And Leroy, while they're doing it, you know what we haven't done in a little bit, but I have one or at least I have like two short ones that I want to combine. And off my chest of two things that have been driving me crazy this week.
We haven't had off my chest in a while.
We haven't in a while. And I know we're running a little bit long, but frankly, it's two things that have bugged me, and they shouldn't bug me, but that's what off my chest is that for the most time we're ranting about things that shouldn't be a big deal, but they are. Jason's going to pick Truex, so I'll put him in. You're going to join in the competition there, Jason. Paul is going to, he was going to pick Truex as well. He is going to go with Chase Elliott. I don't like that we were all thinking about this because this almost makes me think that Truex is not going to win.
By the way, Paul Skeens struck out Ohtani on 3 straight triple-digit pitches.
Love it. Okay. I've been going to a lot of summer basketball this week.
Yep.
And you know what drives me crazy, Leroy, and I can guarantee you're with me on this, is when players drive in and yell "and one" in the middle of the play. I know that has to drive you crazy too, but there were so many instances where I was hearing it, or you hear the team yelling "and one," and it's not a foul, and it's just like, and there was one point where the ref literally goes, "That wasn't an and one." Like it was just, I know it, and I don't know why it drives me crazy, and I guarantee it drives you crazy too.
Because they don't know the rule, man.
Yes.
By the way, the Cubs ended up beating the White Sox tonight again. White Sox blew a 5-2 lead again.
Congratulations! I mean, the Cubs beat the White Sox like that.
Yeah, but again, another comeback win.
Yes, before it goes in, Paul. The whole and one thing. I don't know. It just drives me crazy. And then the other one is yesterday through, and I know Chase, in fact, here, let's read what Chase says here. This is a long comment. Okay. I had a mini interesting story. I was giving a courtesy golf cart ride at my baseball tournament. I was wearing a WKU jacket, and the guy I was giving a ride to says, I used to play basketball, and I had my jersey retired. It was, carry.
Oh,
interesting. And one. Yes, Justin. Driving me up the wall.
And one.
I don't know. I don't know why it bugs it. And I know it bugs. It probably bugs you more than it bugs me.
People that will never ref a game in their life going to sit there and be all like, and we've had this conversation before, over the back, which is it's not in the rule book at all. There's no such rule as over the back.
It drives me crazy. It
doesn't exist.
Yeah. Okay. My other one is so yesterday, Freddie Montas for the Reds had a no-hitter through 6 innings. And John Sadak, the Reds play-by-play guy, said, going to break, Frankie Montas has a no-hitter through 6 innings.
Ooh, did that bother you?
Montas lost the game in the 7th inning, lost the no-hitter in the 7th inning. You know what drives me crazy is the people who are blaming it on John Sadak. That is his job. The announcer's jinx is the stupidest thing in the world. Chase, I know I'm gonna tick off here, but I mean, last year in the regional tournament last year, I broadcast a perfect game, and you better believe, starting in the 5th inning, after the 5th inning, Jason, it just started pouring again right when you sent that comment. It's raining really hard. I don't know if it picks up on the microphone as well, but after the 5th inning, I said, Brooke Hamilton is perfect through 5 innings. She's perfect through 6 innings. It is not our job to toe around it. Our job is to be, because my philosophy is that what happens, especially in the high school realm, is if somebody, I did not.
That doesn't surprise me, Chase. That doesn't surprise me.
It is, but it is our job to say those things. And the people that are, there was somebody.
You can say them without saying them.
No, your job is to say the fact as a broadcaster. That's at least my philosophy when it comes to that. So there was somebody that made a big post complaining about John Sadak. Shouldn't have said it. It's all his fault. I'm like, come on.
Most of the people in the comments section don't know him, but I know you know Avery Cooper.
I do.
And Avery is a very big believer in what you believe in saying what's going on. If there's a no-hitter in the fourth, guess what? He'll say no hits given up. We're in the fourth inning. More to come here in just a moment. And I used to give him crap all the time for it. Now, I don't know if I'm a big believer in jinxes or anything like that. But there are people that's a very, in the broadcasting world, in Sam and our world, there is a definite split between people who say it and people who don't say it. I will tell you, on MLB The Show, every time the stupid broadcaster says, I have a no-hit going, the very next pitch I give up a hit or a home run. So,
well, whose fault is that?
Definitely the broadcaster.
But for me, it just drives me crazy because the philosophy I have with it, and this is, I guess, talking, I mean, this podcast is about broadcasting, that's why we started to begin with, is
the whole reason why we started. Absolutely.
Yeah, is my philosophy is what would happen if Leroy, that the perfect game that I called in the regional tournament, what would have happened if you would have tuned in the sixth inning and I was just going along? Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that.
You don't need to give him a big head, Jason.
It's too late. Too late.
He's pretty cocky, arrogant already without you helping.
But you would have, if I was just broadcasting the game like normal.
Yes.
It is my job to say, for the person that tunes in late, there is a perfect game happening. That is because also
I will never actually say those words. I will say,
and see, that's
the
just
Cubs
where we're
lead the Reds. No hits, no errors, no walks. We head to the sixth inning. Cubs 3, Reds nothing. There are ways that you can say it without saying it.
Woo! Paul Reeves from the top shelf. A shot at both of us there.
Is that insulting to me or to you or to both of us?
Yes. It's a shot at both of us without question. But I don't know. It drove me crazy how mad it made some people. Like, we can joke about it, but there was somebody who was so mad that they wrote. It was like 250 words on Facebook.
It gets me back to my IndyCar rant. It's a sport. Why are we getting so upset over a sport? Unless you got money on the game that's going to be a perfect game, which if you do, you're an idiot. Yep. And while we're on the topic of perfect games, can we please go back and give freaking, who was it that pitched for the Tigers?
Armando
give him
Galarraga?
His perfect game. We can change these record books all we want to nowadays.
No.
We added the Negro Leagues. We added everything. Go give what's his name his perfect game.
No.
Yeah, you can say no. I'm telling you.
Because
it was a perfect game.
It was, but I don't think you can say, because the minute you do that, it opens up Pandora's box.
Does it? How many other games can you think of that had situations like that?
Well, but it's more of bang bang plays of saying, you're going to make the fans that are going to complain. I think it would open up Pandora's box.
It wasn't the bang bang play, and that's the issue. If it was,
listen, I'm not disagreeing with you. If they announce that tomorrow, but I think I agree with Chase. I think it would set a terrible precedent for MLB to do. But if they announced tomorrow that they were going to give it to him, I'm not going to be mad by any stretch. I just was worried about, it was not a bang bang play. There have just been a lot of those moments, though, where it has been close plays that it's just missed. So, yep, Chase brings up a good point. I don't know. It's just, I think it would create a weird precedent. And it was. He was out. No question. I don't know how he missed it. But I don't know.
Chase, how was that World Series? You watched that World Series? The one with Yogi and Jackie?
You did, Leroy. You were there, right?
Front row seats, man.
Mm-hmm. What was the 1919 Black Sox game like?
I don't know. The newspapers really didn't make a big deal out of it until after all the cheating stuff went through. Then all of a sudden it was a big deal.
Was Honus Wagner, were you there the day he made his debut?
Honus was a dick. Didn't sign anything. Reminded me of a certain Bengals quarterback.
John Kitna.
Wrapping
it back around. I mean, Did Abner Doubleday actually? Wait, you both were. I didn't know you and Paul knew each other back then.
Abner Doubleday was a general in the Civil War, so I mean,
was he your general?
No, my general was General MacArthur. I'm not that old.
Oh, okay. So I had to. It all runs together now. When you get old like me, Leroy, you'll understand that the time the times just run together with it all. Next week, I don't really know. I mean, and that's one thing that I like. We never really know what the next week could bring in sports. We didn't think we would be talking about Catilin Clark getting beat up. We didn't think we'd be talking about betting on baseball. Who knows what next week could bring? Do you have anything else that you want to get off your chest, or?
No, IndyCar is in Road America in Ohio this weekend. The Cubs are going to throttle the Reds this weekend.
Are they?
And do you know who the Bengals team captains are going to be for this year?
They usually don't announce that until like the week before the season.
Who would you like to see as team captain this year?
I mean, it'll be Joe Burrow, Ted Karras on offense, Orlando Brown Jr. on offense. It'll be those three. On defense, it'll be, I bet, Logan Wilson, Mike Hilton, and Sam Hubbard. And then they usually do one special teams guy. And that'll be, oh God, I have no idea.
Did you see my most unusual high school mascots post today?
I did not.
All right. So we have the 20 most unusual high school mascots in the nation. I know we're way over on time, but stop listening if you don't want to listen. Here we go. The 20.
Paul might have a tea time tomorrow. We got to make sure.
That's fine. The 20 most unusual high school mascots in the nation. I'm amazed at how many of these teams Taylorville has played.
The Polka Dots?
Yuma, Arizona Criminals.
I like that.
The Effingham Flaming Hearts.
Yep.
Laurel Hill Hobos from Florida.
Okay.
The Frankfort, Indiana Hot Dogs.
Okay. Frankfurt Hot Dogs. I like that.
Cuero, Texas Gobblers. I like the hot dogs. Hereford, Texas White Faces.
That's allowed still? Can we take a
bowl? It looks like a bowl.
Can we take a quick time out here really quick?
Yeah.
I was thinking about this a couple of weeks ago, and I don't remember how many you had said, and Paul might remember, but we had the conversation about hot dogs and the hot dog eating contest, and how you said, how many hot dogs do you think you could eat in 10 minutes?
What did I say, like 7?
I thought you said a high number, like 8.
I might have. I don't remember what I said.
Here's the thing. In about a month, July the 3rd.
You?
No, I think we need to set it up. And Christy, if you're watching right now, maybe she can make them. And I think on the show that day, on July the 3rd, which is the day before the hot dog eating contest, we need to put you to the test and see see how many you can eat. No, I'm not, because I know I can't do it. Like, I don't know how many I could eat, in all seriousness.
Are we doing Nathan's?
Ugh. I mean, if I'm joining in, no. But I guess it's got to be, because I don't like Nathan's. But, I mean, if I have to join, I will, but you'll kick my butt, because I know absolutely. I don't know. Maybe 4 would be my absolute max. And you think you could do 8?
Yeah.
So would you be willing to do this in about a month? On July the 3rd for our day before? You don't have to work the next day.
Yep. I got to do taps. I got to do taps at the I got to play. But that's fine. I'm in.
Let's set it up. Jason's feeling good about you. He says you can eat 10. I give you props. But I think you make 10.
Paul says Oscar Mayer. I'm fine with that.
Okay, I mean, if we and listen, if I have to join, I have to join. Like, I'll join. We'll do it, and I will fail epically at this. But
good.
Okay, we'll start it off. Okay.
All right. So we have the 20 most unusual high school mascots in the nation. Hickman, Missouri, Q Pies. Compton, Illinois, Apple Knockers. And I'm telling you, I don't know what this mascot is, but it's pretty fun. It looks like a cowboy holding an apple. Watersmeet, Michigan Nimrods. The Orofino, Idaho Maniacs. Freeburg, Illinois Midgets. The Ozark, Arkansas Hillbillies. Northeast Dubois, Indiana Jeeps. New Braunfels, Texas Unicorns. The Brewer, Maine Witches. The Hoopston, Illinois Corn Jerkers. The Freeport, Illinois Pretzels. The Robstown, Texas Cotton Pickers.
Is that allowed still?
Centralia, Illinois Orphans. And my best one, Teutopolis, Illinois Wooden Shoes.
Paul has a question for you, too. I'm not...
Great. Paul can take his question and shove
it. Did you want me to read it to you out loud?
You can read it as much as you want to. I'm not going to respond to it.
Which I think the no response is all the response you need, Paul.
I do want to. Our thoughts and prayers are with Paul. Actually, Paul.
Yes.
Paul's best friend passed away, and our prayers are with you, bud. I know it's like losing an animal, man. Prayers.
It's you lost a member of the family without question like that. So Paul, absolutely,
So yeah, I'm taking the high road while you decide to make fun of my height. So
he's having a bad time, so he can take shots at us. That's okay. He did take a shot at both of us, but yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if Boone County High School can't be the Rebels, is Cotton Pickers acceptable? I'm gonna say no.
And I tell you what,
what school is that?
The Robstown, Texas Cotton Pickers, and it's a big. Like it's a picture of cotton.
Their stadium is Cotton Picker Stadium.
Yeah.
Oh, it is just a cotton. They have just a cotton at midfield.
I'm telling you.
16 and a half years. Wow, Paul. That's a long time. There's still a thing, the Cotton Pickers. Interesting. I'm surprised that's still allowed to be a thing. Has some controversy throughout the years. I wonder why.
The Blooming Prairie Blossoms, the least intimidating name ever.
Because, Kentucky, we have... Yeah, there is literally cotton in midfield, Justin. In Kentucky, we have the Polar Bears.
Yeah.
In West Virginia, there's Polka High School. They're the Dots. Yeah, what one was the White Faces? What high school was that?
The White Faces was...
That's just as bad. I want to see the logo for this.
The White Faces was Hereford. Hereford. Hereford, Texas. It's a cow.
Interesting. Yeah, I like their mascot here. Interesting. I guess, okay, because the cow has a white face. So that's what it is.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Well,
the Frankfurt hot dogs have literally a wiener dog who's like growling.
Yeah. Frankfurt wiener dogs. I'm trying to see here the logo here. This is great podcasting too, isn't it? The Frankfurt hot dogs. Oh, that's awesome. That is an awesome logo.
Yeah.
I would wear a hat with that. I would absolutely wear a hat with the Frankfurt hot dogs. I love that.
Yeah, Paul, we all know why. We get it, Paul. We know.
Next week we'll be back. I know she's not watching, but happy birthday to my mom. She's celebrating her 29th birthday today. I think that's what she said.
Hey, happy birthday, Ma!
I'll see her this weekend. Headed to the Reds tomorrow. We get to sit in the box next to the radio booth, which is always kind of fun. And hopefully going to go on Friday as well. Leroy, any fun plans for you this weekend?
I start my vacation on Friday. I am off from Friday until for the whole week until the very next Monday. After working multiple weekends and taking a few, we were actually planning on going to Michigan, but somebody decided that jury duty was more important, so we're not going anywhere as of right now.
It's getting hot in here now. Ooh.
But yes, I am off all week next week, and I'm pretty excited for it. So I have no plans this weekend. I'm probably gonna find some new video game to download and play it all weekend.
Oh, Paul has jury duty Monday as well. Maybe it's the same jury.
Dang.
Maybe it's the same jury. At least you don't have to go to work. It's at least a positive, right?
I was really thinking about going to work in my just civilian clothes and just like making fun of everyone while I walked.
I can't believe you have to wear a uniform.
Yep, I picked the one radio station in all of America that has a freaking uniform.
You know what I wore to work today?
I'm looking at it.
Yep.
So pissed.
But I work from home too, so it's a little different.
Hate it. Hate it.
Yeah, I don't understand. Paul already made his decision. They're guilty. We'll see you next week. That'll wrap us up. Who knows what the week could bring, Leroy. We'll see you then.
We're excited. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Yeah, we appreciate everyone for tuning in. See you next week.